The Kentucky Wildcats. This is a program that is coming off a very phenomenal season last year. Many people think that they have a very good shot at being able to win the SEC East. And I ask you guys, who do you guys think is the biggest threat to Georgia this season? Kentucky or Tennessee? And I want you to be unbiased because I know the majority of you guys watching this segment are probably going to be Kentucky fans. But Tennessee also looks really good as well. So that's Kentucky. Kentucky's over-under win total this season is 8. And they have some changes on the coaching staff. You have a new offensive coordinator in Rich Gangarillo. I hope I pronounced that right. I think I did. Rich Gangarillo. He is somebody who has had some NFL experience. Your offensive coordinator from last year left for the LA Rams. But your offense shouldn't change that much. He's still going to implement a pro-style offense. And I think that Will Levis is going to be really good under him. And for Will Levis, do you guys view him as a potential number 1 overall pick? Because that's a really intriguing discussion that I've been seeing a lot of people have over the course of this offseason. Will Levis going number 1? I don't know. But he definitely has a lot of talent, a very good arm, one of the strongest arms in college football. And definitely how far Kentucky goes this year is going to be heavily dependent on Will Levis. And from what I've heard from Kentucky fans this season, there are many Wildcat fans who feel that this may be the best offense that Kentucky has had in a very long time, since 2007. So that tells you how long it's been since Kentucky has had an offense with this much talent. You have running back Chris Rodriguez, who was the best running back statistically in the SEC last year. You are going to have some question marks when it comes to wide receiver because you did lose Wan'Dale Robinson. It was pretty much the Wan'Dale Robinson show on Kentucky last year. The dude was sensational. He's in the NFL. You also lost Josh Ali as well. But you do bring in Virginia Tech transfer Tavion Robinson. Last year he had 44 receptions, 559 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns. You also have true freshman wideout coming in, Dane Key, who I am really excited to watch. There are many coaches inside of the Wildcats program who is excited about this kid. He was a 4-star coming out of the 2022 recruiting cycle. He was the number 1 player from the state of Kentucky. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. So he already has a pretty good frame. And on top of that, you as offensive coordinator Rich Gangarillo about him. He likes him. He really loves him a lot. He has been really impressed with how he has picked up the playbook. And I think that he could end up being one of the best freshmen in the SEC. So on the offensive line, your offense should still be really good. But the offensive line is kind of the question mark that people have when it comes to the offense, especially when you're looking at your 2 offensive tackle positions. But I still think that this offensive line should still be able to be very good. You do have a new offensive line coach, but I'm not expecting the offensive line to drop off and play at all. I think that Kentucky could end up having a top 20 offense this year. You look on the defensive side. The defense probably will take a little bit of a step back, but I don't think it's going to be a major drop-off. Your defensive line is still going to be pretty solid. It's going to be led by Justin Rogers. Linebacker, you got J.J. Weaver, DeAndre Square coming back. Your secondary, when it comes to your safety position, is really good. The only question probably is going to be cornerback, really. Other than Carrington Valentine, you don't really have a lot of proven production there, and you're going to be having a lot of guys coming in who probably are going to be inexperienced, so there's probably going to be a lot of growing pains at the cornerback position this year, which is why I think we could see Kentucky's defense take a little bit of a step back. But looking at their schedule, so you look at their out of conference, right? Not too tough. You play Miami of Ohio, Youngstown State, and NIU, Northern Illinois. So you should be able to win those games. But you do have to play Florida after you play Miami of Ohio. on the road in Gainesville. And Florida is not going to be a pushover this year. Florida is a team that could end up surprising some people, and they could end up being the second best team in the SEC East this year. The thing with Florida is really that you question how much depth they have at every position, right? You question the depth that they have at receiver, and then when it comes to the defensive side of things. But if they can stay healthy, this is a team that could end up being really good year one under Billy Napier. So I think that Florida game could go either way. Then you have to go on the road to Ole Miss. I think that is a game that I would pick Kentucky to win. I think Ole Miss is going to take a step back last year. They overachieved last year. They surprised many people. You play South Carolina. South Carolina is a team that you don't really know what to expect from them. They do have a lot of hype and momentum going into this year. I do like the addition of Spencer Rattler. I feel as if he's going to be able to turn things around. Then you have to play Mississippi State. Mississippi State is a team that many people are sleeping on this year. Their defensive line is going to be really good. They have a lot of experience that's coming back on both ends of the football. Mississippi State is a team that many people need to keep their eyes on because they could end up being the second or third best team in the SEC West this season. But the biggest game of the season for Kentucky, outside of playing Georgia near the end of the season, is going to be going on the road to face Tennessee. Because you have two programs who many people think could be vying for a spot in a New Year's Six bowl game this year. And you have two programs that are pretty much the biggest sleeper teams, not only in this conference, but in all of college football. If you ask people to name their dark horse college football playoff contenders, there's going to be a lot of people that have Kentucky and Tennessee on that list. And this is probably going to be one of the biggest matchups in the SEC this season. So I'm really excited to see that game, and I'm really excited to see what the outcome is going to be. Not only do you have two very good programs going in, but you have two very good quarterbacks going into that matchup. You have Hendon Hooker versus Will Levis, two of the best quarterbacks in the SEC going toe-to-toe. So for Kentucky, I think that this is going to be a team that ends up winning 9 games. They potentially could win 10 games. But I think I'm going to have them at 9. I definitely feel that Florida game is a losable game. That could go 50-50. South Carolina potentially could be a swing game. Mississippi State also. But I do think that this is a program that I wouldn't be surprised if we could see them end up surprising some people and end up having a season where they could end up potentially upsetting Georgia. Because Georgia still is talented. They are the better team. They are the best team in this division. However, I don't think Georgia is as good this year as they were last season. And with the fact that you have a quarterback in Will Levis that has so much NFL hype around him, if he's as good as what a lot of people are thinking that he is, and they have the expectation that he potentially could go number 1 overall, then he should be able to elevate this team. And he has a pretty good supporting cast around him, a very solid group of wide receivers. The offensive line for Kentucky is always pretty good. So for Will Levis, with the fact that you have a quarterback that has this kind of talent, there's no game that you can't win. And last year, they did get ran out of the building by Georgia last year, but Georgia had one of the greatest defenses in college football history. They're not going to have that this year. Their defense still is going to be very good, but not as good as what it was last year. So for Kentucky, I think that they definitely have a very strong chance of being able to win the SEC East this year. And so does Tennessee. So let me know how you guys are feeling about Kentucky football